Teddy go. Teddy go.
Hello and welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenges of being a man in modern society and whatever the hell that even means. I'm Kane, and joining me today to chat man stuff are Ryan and Maddie. Firstly, gents, how's the weekend?
Stressful, Kane. Ryan, welcome. Nice to talk to you guys.
Thanks, mate.
Why was it stressful, Matthew?
We're currently building a cubby house up here in Brisbane, which has been going on now this is month number 3. We've got the foundations are down, but we've just had not just, but we've got a 9-week-old son, so we're juggling him with the 3-year-old and the 6-year-old, and trying to get a cubby house done is proving quite a large task.
So did you just say you've been building a cubby house for 3 months?
Yeah. So
I think my dad built our first house in 3 months.
Yeah, it's proving very challenging. The initial idea was just go to Bunnings. We're going to Bunnings and blowing up a cubby house and making it fall over almost. We thought let's try and build one ourselves. So whether we'll come to regret that, not too sure. But we're up the walls now, so we're getting there. We're almost on a roof.
Is it like a tree-based cubby house? Is it a cubby house on the ground? Do you need to pour concrete? Is there a slab?
With the little kids, I think Kim's got a bit of a fear of them falling from a height. So this thing's only probably 600 mil off the ground, which will do no damage whatsoever. But yeah, on the weekend we decided to go down a lumberyard. We'll pick out the wall cladding. Maybe we'll take both the girls down and go there nice and early when there's no one there. So it was all well and good. We got to the lumberyard. We sort of found the timber we wanted, and then the girls sort of are at the age where they're not sort of taking instructions. They're just sort of running around and some forklifts. And in the end, the middle child did some running down a hill and kissed the concrete quite heavily. So he started flowing. And
two little ones running around a lumberyard. What could possibly go wrong?
That's right. I can see that.
I can understand not going to Bunnings every weekend though, because I spend about an hour there most weekends just for the kid to get a sausage and bread. So I reckon a lumberyard's a pretty good bet. Ryan did some engineering at university. Do you have any advice for Matt about putting up a cubby house or just a house in general?
Any advice? Well, don't do it when you've got a 8-month pregnant wife and thinking that you'll get it done before the baby comes. It's probably the best advice. And then second to that is outsource that Kickstarter or something like that.
You could probably get someone now to put that up. Do you have a grand opening plan, Matt? Is there a launch party or a grand opening for the company?
I'm sort of setting a hard. There's just too many variables at the moment with everything going on. So talking about outsourcing, I did try and want to get my old man to help out a bit, but he sort of just tends to take over rather than teach.
Does the supervisor role?
Role.
So, to be honest, that's what most engineers do. So that's about the expertise that I have there, Kane.
Yeah, well, my dad's a carpenter as well, so I'm more of an outsourcer to him than let's do something collaborative. He's got that skill set. I certainly don't have any idea how to hold a hammer most of the time. I can break things, but building things are outside the scope of this helpline. What about you, Ryan? What do you get up to on the weekend?
Very different. I got an apartment, first of all, so I don't have to worry about a backyard or cubby houses or anything. And it takes bugger all to clean, so that's pretty good. Went out for a belated boys' night on the weekend. Friday night, closed in at about 2:30, which hasn't happened for a while and was good fun.
Oh, I can't remember the last time that actually happened full stop. So, well, tell me more. Can I live vicariously through this? Where did you start?
Sure.
What did you do?
Well, don't have the kids yet, so not at that phase. And so I've got to capitalise on these, especially listening to fellas like you guys. Started with just the after-work drinks, and then my mate and I hadn't caught up for ages. So we put one in the calendar going, we better do this. And to be honest, the Thursday before, I was actually about ready to bail on it. I was like, I've got so much work, and my missus was sick and all that kind of thing. And then I was like, no, keep it in the calendar. And sure enough, like she's sick all week off. And we went out on the work account, got a bit happy. Went in, I think we went to Mr. Crackles, which is a big thing down here in Melbourne. They've just opened and it was fantastic. And then we found like the dirtiest like 90s, music club bar that we could find that would have a stage and sticky floors and shots and stuff and go back to like, being at uni and stuff. And Yeah, we closed out at about 2:30. It was that good.
Wow. When I spoke to you on Friday, you were planning on going to yoga at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. Did you manage to get there?
Despite my best efforts, no. No, I think I think I rolled out at about 10 o'clock, which I still thought was pretty good. I was a bit sore the next day.
Sore from a boys' night out. Too much dancing?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Had nothing to do with the beers to wine to whiskey ratio that went through.
So what was wrong with your partner? You said she was sick.
Yeah, she's pretty good. Like I got to be honest, I'd be the little whiny one in the house. If I'm sick, like it's definitely a case of man flu, whereas she's pretty good, but got smacked because somebody at her work decided that as middle management, he was pretty important and couldn't stay at home sick. So he's basically infected the whole office from what I've found or
Wow.
heard. And then she got the flu, she got a bit of pink eye, she got a bit of everything. So I was just like, yeah, smashing green juices, and then alcohol is quite pure, so that I'm assuming helped. Managed to dodge it so far, but we'll find out.
I was gonna say, see, she had pink eye and she's been sick all week. You went out until 2:30 in the morning and you haven't caught it.
No, and it's and hearing that makes me sound like a cracker of a boyfriend.
No,
No.
it was more the fact that if I could probably go out and have drinks or have a late night, but not do both. If I did both, I would definitely get sick. I'd catch anything, but
Somehow dodged it, which stays that way, hopefully.
oh, sickness. So that was my last weekend. The little fella was sick, and then Miss F got it as well. So I've basically been in the same clothes for, well, I know 4 or 5 days. I've had maybe 2 showers throughout that time. So that sort of season, flu season and cold season, where you just kind of pick up things from anywhere, be it a middle manager at work or kids in childcare or playgroup. I don't know where they pick it up from, but we run a home business a lot of the time, and trying to juggle a sick kid and a business is really, really hard.
It is. It is. My wife works from home as well, and even she's working from home full time. And even if one of the kids is sick, I'll often get a phone call from her saying, "Look, we've got to work something out." So it might be I'll have half a day at work, come home, and she'll have the other half a day working from home or looking after one of the little ones. But I think a lot of it, touching on what you said before, Kane, they do pick it up from daycare, because sometimes the parents perhaps maybe send the kids to daycare because they've got no other option. They'll send them there just hoping that they might see out the day, and that's where the other kids will pick it up and around it goes.
I actually remember taking little F across to Jimbaroo. I took him every sort of second Tuesday. It was awesome. They play out of parachutes and go down slides and do flips and stuff. It was awesome. I remember going one day, the kid there, dead set, had the double Roman candles, like the big double green hangers out of his nose. Like, there's no way you should be out here. You should be in quarantine or something. And, lo and behold, a week later, he caught it. So it's one of those things where some parents, either they have an option to do something else, or maybe they don't care about the result of that.
Yeah.
It's bad enough
That's nasty.
bad enough when I get sick, I end up in quarantine. Like, we have a spare bedroom, so if I get sick, I end up in quarantine. If Miss F gets sick, I end up in quarantine as well. And if the little fella gets sick, we all sleep in 3 separate rooms, hoping that it's not like a carousel of us all getting sick at different times, like the lazy Susan of common cold.
Funny you should say that. We were the same with our first child, Mia. Anytime she got sick, sort of thing, your whole world would kind of stop, and you'd be straight on top of them, just trying to make them feel better. And come the third baby, like Eloise was sick yesterday from daycare. So the wife had dropped her off, and then no sooner been home for 30 minutes, got the phone call, had to go pick her up. She'd been vomiting. Because she's nice and sensitive, the wife is, obviously, oh, the poor little thing. Whereas first thing running through my mind is, bang, there goes your day. You've got all this you got to put it on the back burner. But you just got to show from when from the first one to the third one, your thought process kind of changes from unselfish to more of a selfish, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what about like managing kids whilst you're sick? When I'm sick, I'm like the biggest man baby there is, and then I sit there and go. And then if there was an actual baby that was sick and I'd have to deal with that, that would be, Codrill's helpful, you soldier on, but that would be a bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not easy. And even when, as an adult now, if I get sick, it's it's coded as man flu, and
They have proven that. There is a genuine case of man flu. It is
Like,
diagnosable, I think.
it's just not there anymore for the guy to get sick. I think if in a house full of kids.
Yes, we have the interesting one where like I reckon it's okay if one of you is sick. If you're sick and the kid's sick, it's really hard because the kid bounces back really fast. Like they'll have a cold one day and then the next day it's like they haven't had a cold at all, and like they're running around the house singing and dancing. The little fella the other day, despite being sick, like had been to the potty because we'd just done the toilet training thing. He comes out and he jumps on his rocking horse fully nude, just waving his hand in the air. Like an hour and a half ago, you're coughing your lungs up, mate. Like it just, they bounce back so fast, but we don't. Maybe it's just age. It's hard when they're acting well, but you still feel really crummy despite getting sick at the same time.
It's the same as drinking. Back in the day, it was quite easy to bounce back the next day and but 35, it takes so much longer to recover.
Well, right.
I was just thinking that. I was like, all these people, they're going, oh, when you start getting your late 20s, hangovers hurt more, blah, blah, blah. And you go, yeah, you keep saying that. And it's one of those things. It's like, you listen to people and they're like, oh, yeah, when you have kids, you'll understand, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, don't know that life will change that much. And then everyone gives you a full lecture about how it will. But it's a bit like drinking. Like, yeah, when you get to your late 20s, hangovers don't go at 11 when you wake up at 10 and you eat leftover pizza. It actually like hangs around for 24 hours. And the worst thing is you can anticipate it now because you're like, shit, this is happening. And it only gets worse because you're like, oh, all those people that were older that say like you, Matt, going, yeah, 35, it's even worse. I'm like, I can believe that now. Because when you're 19 and then some, 20 whatever, and you get to 23 and you're like, yeah, it's still fine. But I don't know, there's something that just hits. So I wonder that actually, like being sick, but then also having a hangover with a kid. Like, how do you deal with that?
I just generally avoid it now. I can't remember the last time that I went out and I actually do remember the last time I came out and had a really big day. I got told the next day I was actually more of a child than our 6-month-old at the time. So, yeah, I learnt my lesson after that.
I learned my lesson by a 30 June party. The next day we had a friend's 4-year-old party. And with the whole intention of coming home early, sticking to the water, rotating the drink, being responsible, sort of went out the window. Most of the time it does. And this next day at this party, I had to muster up so much energy and be told by the wife I had to be there to get to this party. And the whole party, I've sort of just tried to maneuver myself to a back room and sat on a child's bed and sort of got another dad to come in and sort of just spoke to him and not moved for like 2 hours straight, just waiting for this party to finish. And my God, I'll never do it again. It's so much pain.
Like it's the way, because you don't bounce back as quick as well. And even with sickness as well, like you could usually power through that. But like, especially with hangovers, you've actually got to do like an equation to go, what am I doing for the next 3 days? Because I don't know, it's probably now that I'm a bit older and, have this responsibility work-wise, but you actually end up riding the next few days off because you just feel like shit. And you operate at like 50%, you have to calculate actually going out and having a good time now. And I mean, and I'm the one out of us that doesn't have kids, and I'm already thinking that. So
good that you think about it now, though. You'll be nice and pre-prepared.
Yeah, but it's even like, on the weekends, like thankfully we've got a 2-bedroom apartment and that, so it's pretty easy to clean and that kind of thing. But there's absolutely no way of me getting out of like cleaning. It's sort of, you've got that thing of I'm completely hungover and I really don't want to do anything, but you've got to weigh in, all the calculations, and then especially if you've got some work to do and I don't know, all that kind of stuff, you actually ride the next few days off.
It's all swings and roundabouts in that situation, though. Like the next week, your partner could have had a big night out with the girls, and like you'd be doing that. So I think those sort of things where you can kind of go, okay, can you just give me a chop out this week, and then next week I'll give you a chop out when I don't feel like death warmed up. I think that works out quite well. I think there has to be a mutual understanding that everyone has to let off some steam at some point and get a chop out on the other side.
Yeah, I like that chop out. I'm going to steal that.
Matt, you're up in Queensland now, so it's only your wife's side of the family who's up there. How do you get a chop out babysitting wise and things like that?
Yeah, we're kind of we don't really have many options up here. Apart from Kim's family, the wife's family, I do have my brother up here as well, but he's kind of useless when it comes to babysitting. So we just don't tend to go out anymore as much. Even when we didn't have the 9-week-old, it was the 6 and 3-year-old, but they're established in their routines. It was just never really, I don't know. The wife would just fall asleep quite early on the couch, or you'd have intentions to go out, but when it comes time to do it, like we did have a night out. We were going to go to movies and go and play a bit of fandangle mini golf, that thing they've got up here. We went and did a dinner first, and then we just thought, we're too tired to go and see a movie or even go and play golf. Let's just go home and watch a movie. So even when you do intend to go out, you end up staying at home.
Yeah, no, I did catch up with Ryan last Friday, and he said he's going to have a boys' night out. And you said the next day I texted you to see if you got to yoga or not. He said I got home at 2:30. I'd actually gone to bed at 9:30 p.m. So yeah, that's like the yin and the yang. So I didn't want to say that at the time. I just like, oh, what are you going to do tonight? I'm going to go to bed at 9:30. But that's how it eventuated. Yeah, probably hadn't even left the first night spot at 9:30.
No, we hadn't even eaten. We ate at 10.
I eat at 5:30 now. I've gone to full nana mode.
But the question is, did you enjoy going to bed at 9:30? Was it like oh my God, this is actually a relief?
There's only probably 2 or 3 times out of 365 days where I'll jump into bed and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy and glad to be in bed. But it was just one of those things where I knew that if I didn't, then I had to fight off this bug. So if I didn't do that, then the bug would probably get me. I feel like that Yakult ad now, there's the good bacteria and the bad bacteria fighting just under the surface. And I'm hoping the good bacteria are going to win. Going to bed at 9:30 helps that, I think, and eating well kind of helps that. At the same time, man, I would have loved to have been out till 2:30. Matt, this weekend, building Cubby House again?
Yeah, building Cubby House again for week number of 9 or 10, I think it is.
Putting the roof up, doing the plumbing, electricity?
Yeah, I did joke about actually getting some electricity and plumbing out there. I think it's more going to be a place for me to just get some solitude or, cry every now and then. So, pretty good.
Ryan, what are you up to?
Bit of an escape. This weekend, TK's parents are coming. So they're staying with us for the week because it's her birthday on Tuesday. So we're going to go out to some fancy places on South Bank for dinner. And if it's not terrible here in Melbourne, we might duck up to the Yarra Valley.
This is a big birthday for TK, isn't it?
It is, number 30.
There you go. Well, we have to wish her a happy birthday from us both. And I'll hopefully just be fighting off the bugs, and the bugs won't have got me by then. I might be in bed by 9:30. Who knows? That about wraps it up for this week. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week for another episode, or should I say serving, of Daddy Eats Last. How's that one for a dad joke? Catch you all next week.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.